Xbox On. Welcome to Xbox On, a podcast with one host about one console, Xbox. I'm said host Jesse DeRosa, and on today's episode, we'll be talking about the latest Xbox news for the week of April 24th, 2025, including the Oblivion Remastered has finally been announced and released. Rebellion CEO talks about Game Pass being a big boon for Atomfall, and more. On This Week in Xbox History, in the year 2012, 13 years ago, Prototype 2 was released for the Xbox 360. Guys, Prototype, that's a game that's permanently in my backlog. I know I will like these games, both of them, and they often go on sale because they did that re-release bundle for the two games that was like up-res for the Xbox One. What was that, like 7 years ago? And it always goes on sale for like $15, $20, and it's such a good deal. I know I will like these games. I know these are that like AA budgety original IP kind of I miss this era of gaming stuff that we don't get anymore that I would just eat right up. But for some reason, just one of those series that sits permanently in my backlog. But I know there is a small but loud fan base that adores these games, and I'm pretty sure I'd be among them if I just sat down and played them. But Prototype 2, happy 13th birthday. Almost old enough to start lashing out at your parents. Anyway, guys, welcome to Xbox On, episode 308. Parksy writes in and says, "Hey, Jesse, hope you had a good Easter. Not sure how big of a holiday that is in the U.S. Let me stop you right there. Well, actually, you said, but here in the U.K., it's our first big holiday of the year. Yeah, let me stop you there. Of course it's a big holiday here in the U.S. You want to know why? Because you people burdened us with this holiday. No, yeah, Easter's a pretty big deal here as well. So thank you. Thank you for the kind words. I hope you had a wonderful Easter holiday with your family. You said most people here in the U.K. have either Good Friday and Easter Monday or Easter Monday and Tuesday off work. Anyway, just wanted to say good luck for the Switch 2 pre-order day. Fingers crossed that you get the bundle. Well, see, one of the things that's so different about the UK versus the US is in the US, a big holiday means that you get Sunday off, which is a day you already get off. It's very common in the US for people to either get Good Friday off, or it's like one of the most like excusable days to take off, like at work. Nobody bats an eye if you take off Good Friday. Some businesses are closed or offices are closed on Good Friday. I remember in school, we had school on Good Friday, but it was not counted. It was counted as an excused absence if you opted not to show up to school that day for religious purposes. But Easter Sunday, of course, major holiday in the U.S. Definitely, I'd say, yeah. Other than New Year's Day, which is kind of a cheat. The first major holiday of the year in the States as well. Valentine's Day is all commercial. St. Patrick's Day is, of course, all for shits and giggles. And Easter is probably the first big one in that echelon of like Thanksgiving, Christmas, 4th of July, Halloween, Easter. Yeah, it's definitely in that category. Did nothing this Easter. Absolutely nothing, and not nothing as in like I had a nice lazy day. I did, but I mean nothing as in like I did nothing to observe and celebrate the Easter holiday. And that's not like me taking some like religious stance or anything. I love Easter. I think it's a wonderful holiday. I think like everything, the true meaning of it is completely fucking stripped and gone for most people. But just like the aesthetic of Easter, the beautiful spring weather, family gatherings, big meals, beautiful like Sunday dresses, men dressing up in button-ups or suits, women dressing up in beautiful sundresses, just the kids chasing Easter eggs, and I have really fond memories of Easter. I love Easter, but I did nothing Easter related this week at all. However, to get to the latter point of your comment, boy, I gotta be honest with you guys, my head is not in Xbox land right now because as of the time I'm recording this, it is Wednesday, April 23rd at 7:30 at night. I am eager to wrap this. I'm just being honest with you guys. I love sitting down and getting to chat with you guys every week. I look forward to this podcast. It's definitely the most fulfilling thing I get to do in terms of like something I do with my time to put something out there into the world, and you know, getting your guys' feedback, seeing you guys listen to the show, getting your comments. That is the most fun part of my week for me, is getting to interact with you guys through this podcast. But right this moment, I couldn't give a fuck less about Xbox or Xbox On. Xbox, you can turn off right now, not because I hate Xbox. Oh, I love Xbox. But right now I'm very, very nervous / excited about this Switch 2 pre-order that happens, you know, here on the East Coast. We're just a mere 3 hours away. What is it? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 4 hours, 5 hours away, less than 5 hours away right now. I'm just very excited, very nervous, because after how everything went down with the Xbox Series and PS5 pre-orders back during COVID, and what a pain in the ass it was for people to get a PS5, especially for so long, I am very nervous about how things are going to shake out with Switch 2. I keep seeing online, but Nintendo's been manufacturing them for months and months, and they've been in the US for months and months, and they have a huge stock. I don't care. And then I see people saying, like, on Twitter and stuff, people are like, oh, well, actually, because they're not working with Amazon, there's so much more stock for other retail. Yeah, I don't care. Oh, but GameStop's going to have like 100 of them. I just saw a tweet, apparently, like a local GameStop in I don't know where had like 86. They put a sign on the store that said how many Switches they have for pre-order, and they had 86 units at that store. Great. I don't care. No matter how many units there are or aren't, no matter how big or small the demand is, I don't care. I do not trust the process. And I fully expect that I'm going to be sitting here at 11:59 ready to hit F5 and just click pre-order and check out on bestbuy.com, and I'm going to go sold out. Or the website's going to crash, or I'm going to get the item in my cart, and by the time I hit pay, they say, oh, something went wrong. And then some fucking piece of shit bot from India has got like 8,000 Switch 2s on eBay for like $2.3 trillion. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know, like I'm fully expecting that to be my experience tonight. So I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy. I guess I'm just anxious about it. I have no real reason to care, you know, because at the end of the day, it's like, listen, man, if you want a Switch 2, you're going to get a Switch 2 all in good timing. If you don't get one day one, oh, well, you can get one eventually. Calm the fuck down. You barely play your Switch 1. But the thing is, I'm just like, I'm really hellbent for some reason on this. It's partially because the Switch 2 has gotten me excited about Nintendo for the first time in a long time, and I'm really enjoying this high of not hating Nintendo for the first time in a while, because I used to love Nintendo. I used to love Nintendo just as much as Xbox. I for the longest time, I always said I'm equally a Nintendo and an Xbox guy. But really, throughout most of Switch's lifespan, I've been off the wagon. But right now, I'm feeling very much back on the wagon. It feels good. I don't like being negative. I don't like disliking things. I'm not trying to be a piece of shit hipster trash bag. I gotta react to like how I feel about things, and I haven't been super into Nintendo for a while, and right now I'm kind of like falling back in love, and it feels good. So hoping for that Switch 2 pre-order. I know a lot of you guys in the UK were able to get it. From what I understand, apparently like it wasn't too hard to get one in UK and Europe if you tried to pre-order one. I mean, the pre-orders, you know, they sold out, but it wasn't like 2 seconds, fuck you missed out. From what I understand, it was pretty reasonable. So we'll see. I don't know. I was there day one for every Nintendo console I could be there for, you know? So to me, it's like I got to keep the tradition going. This is my thing. And let's just be honest. Mario Kart and Donkey Kong look so good. So good. Anyway, let's move on, guys. Welcome to Xbox On, not a Nintendo podcast. I do have a correction from last week. I said that in Spider-Man, the 2002 Spider-Man video game based on the movie, the Xbox version has an exclusive boss fight. It does, but I erroneously said it was Electro, and I knew as I was saying that that's wrong. It's not Electro. You know who it is? It's Kraven the Hunter. That's who it is. In the Xbox version, you get to fight Kraven. He's not in the PlayStation or Nintendo or PC version of the game. Got to make that correction. It's very important. I'm a little disappointed in all of you guys that of like the 13 of you that listen, none of you caught that. Really disappointed. And you call yourself an Xbox fan? Think about that for a second, okay? All right, guys, let's talk about some notable game releases of the week. Well, it's maybe it's the fact that it's the biggest story in Xbox right now, or the fact that aside from this, there's nothing else happening in Xbox news. But a little game called Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered is out this week. You can get it through Game Pass, or you can buy it for your Series S or Series X, or you can buy it on PC, or play it on PC, Game Pass, or hell, you can even go buy it on your PlayStation 5, because why the fuck not? Everything's on PlayStation 5 now. We'll talk about that. It's really the only big thing going on in Xbox, so we'll get back to that in just a minute. But there's another game that kind of had its spotlight stolen, that kind of had its thunder taken from it, that was supposed to be the big hot release of the week. That's a little game called Clair Obscur Expedition 33, which is a game Xbox paid money to get on Game Pass and get marketing rights for and get a marketing deal for, so they could show it at their showcase and showed at their Xbox Developer Direct earlier this year as well. So a little befuddling that Xbox paid all this money to be like, hey, we're the Clair Obscur brand, you know, even though it's on PlayStation, it's a multi-platform game, we're the platform you're going to associate this game with because it's a Game Pass game, because we announced it at our stage, etc., etc. And then the game comes out and they go, by the way, fuck Clair Obscur, play Elder Scrolls 4. It's like, what the fuck? So Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is out. This was the game I was anticipating jumping into next. I'm very much interested to try it out, from new studio Kepler Interactive, a new French-based team. It's really a new style of game. It's like a Japanese role-playing game made by a French team. So it's like a French-style Japanese role-playing game, which is really unique, really interesting. I think this game looks quite good. And I don't know, every once in a blue moon, very rarely, a JRPG-style game will strike me. And I think Expedition 33 very much has the potential to be that game. And I really want to play it, but now I want to jump into Elder Scrolls 4 instead. Good news is Clair Obscur Expedition 33 reviews are in. It's doing really, really well. Apparently, the game is excellent. The reviews are, I think it's sitting at like a 92 on Metacritic right now on Xbox. It's like being received very, very well. People are really digging it. Game's got a lot of style, great combat, excellent storytelling, beautiful presentation. I'm very curious to check this out. And for $50, keep in mind, this is not a $60, $70 game. Brand new team, a lot to show. They came out swinging. $50 for this game, I feel like they could have gotten away with $60 easily. So just shout out to the team at Kepler Interactive. Hopefully they're still able to have this game be something of a smash hit success, despite having its release, its launch, kind of just fucking cannibalized by Bethesda and Xbox doing this Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remaster. But we'll talk about Elder Scrolls in a bit. Just want to give Expedition 33 its little moment to shine. I will be getting to this game. I'm still going to play it. I just don't know when, because right now my gaming schedule is so fucked up. And I spent so many hours this past week playing video games. I said no to so many things. I stayed home. I didn't spend money. I didn't do shit this past week. I spent every waking free second. I didn't read. I didn't watch TV. I didn't shower. I didn't mow the lawn. I didn't do shit. I played video games. And I'm still feeling so far behind my arbitrary schedule because Xbox primarily is really the one fucking it up. They won't stop. I go to take a shit for 14 minutes. And I come out and there's 35 more games in Game Pass that are gone and 74 new games on Game Pass that I want to play that just entered the service. Xbox, shut up. Calm the fuck down for a second, okay? This isn't how we do things in this household. All right, thank you. Let's move on, guys. So as far as news, there's no big news to get into, so we're not going to have a proper news segment. We're just going to do our mild amusing, our mouche-bouge, or appetizer-style news stories, and we have some wrap-up stories, but really, we're just going to kind of do the show without the big news segment because there's just not a whole lot going on. So let's just jump right into the mildly amusing stories and kick things off with Oblivion Remastered. I put it at the top because obviously it's by far the most interesting thing to talk about. But what all is there really to say? Well, there's a lot to say. Let's get into it. All right, so this is just the VGC write-up or whatever. Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered is available now. The remaster, which has fully been rebuilt in Unreal Engine 5, features a total graphical revamp, along with changes to the audio and gameplay. The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered modernizes the 2006 Game of the Year with all new stunning visuals and redefined gameplay, reads the game's description. Quote, every single asset in the game has been recreated from scratch, claims developer Virtuous. The game will feature completely animated reanimated lip syncing based on the game's original performance captured data. The game also includes all previously available DLC and expansions. Explore the vast landscape of Cyrodiil? Is that how they say it? Cyrodiil? Who gives a shit? Cyrodiil, like never before, and stop the forces of Oblivion from overtaking the land of one of the greatest RPGs ever from the award-winning Bethesda game studios. The game's leveling system has also changed, inspired by both Skyrim and Oblivion. New lines of dialogue have been recorded, and all the game's various races have unique voices. Sprinting has also been added to the game. All the character locomotion has been redone from scratch, according to developer Virtuous. The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered is available now for PC, Xbox Series consoles, as well as PlayStation. It is, of course, available through Game Pass on Xbox and PC. A deluxe edition for the game has also been released alongside the normal version. The deluxe edition of the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered will include bonuses such as extra weapons and horse armor. The horse armor is a nod to the horse armor DLC pack that the original game helmed, which became a long-running meme in the gaming community as it was seen as one of the original DLC pieces ever released for any video game. Of course, being something as silly and ridiculous as horse armor. Established in 2004, Virtuous is one of the largest game makers in the world. It focuses on supporting the development of major AAA games and bringing existing titles to new platforms. They're currently working on that new Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta remake. So again, storied developer, good track record. And from what it looks like, they've done a beautiful job with this game. So here's the long and short of it. Obviously, we've been talking about this game nonstop because it just keeps leaking. We keep getting information. Last week, screenshots leaked. And so on Monday, was it? Xbox goes, yo, guys, fuck it. Tomorrow, on Tuesday, we're just going to do, Oblivion Remastered. It's a thing. Tune in tomorrow. We're going to have a little 15-minute stream announcing the game. And then on Tuesday, they had the stream. They showed the trailer. They have guys from Bethesda and guys from Virtuous, and they're talking about the game. They're going over what's been changed. They're talking about, I can't believe it's been 20 years. The game's so beautiful. We worked so hard on it. Here we are. Here's our new version, whatever. And then at the end of it, they go, and it's available today. Okay. Of course, this would have been a huge kicker, a huge stinger, had no one known about this. This would have been an awesome shadow drop. Unfortunately, everyone's known about this forever, and we've all been waiting for it because it just keeps leaking. But nonetheless, it doesn't detract from the fact that this is just a cool thing to do. In general, the thing is, it's like, we've said it a million times already. Why would you do this now? Why not do this in June or July when there's a period of time, a lull in the Game Pass release schedule, a lull in the schedule in general, and just kind of like catch people off guard or catch them by surprise after the not award show, but all the summer showcases are over, and after all the hype's kind of died down and people are just waiting for Grand Theft Auto 6, give them something crazy to do. Be like, hey, here is Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered right now. I think that would have been a great idea. But instead they chose to do it in the middle of, we just released Avowed. We just released South of Midnight. Expedition 33 is coming out now. Towerfall is coming to Xbox right now. Indiana Jones just came out to PlayStation right now. Forza Horizon 5 just came to PlayStation right now. We're just a few weeks away from Doom: The Dark Ages coming out. It's just like, why right now? Why in the middle of everything? It's like walking into a forest fire and saying, I'm a little cold. Let me start a fire. It's like, what the fuck you doing, buddy? You silly boy. Speaking of buddy, first time on the podcast, Yeti, or as I call him, Spaghetti, our newer cat. He's here. He's sleeping on the futon right behind me. He looks a little irritated. He's licking himself now, and he's saying, why the fuck are you talking so loud to nobody, you stupid idiot? That's okay. I like you less than your sister anyway. Calm down. Anyway, guys, here's the thing. First of all, I think the game looks beautiful. I've seen the trailers. I've seen some gameplay clips. I think they did a stunning job. Now, I have to be honest about this. Remember, for context purposes, Oblivion is a game that has a little nostalgia for me, and it is part of my youth in the sense that this was the game we got with our Xbox 360 back in 2006 when we got a 360. This was the game we picked out. My brother picked out, I should say. I remember watching my older brother Caleb play the fuck out of this game for hours and hours and hours, all the time. I saw him play it so much. And then Cronky used to play it. My younger brother Cronky, that's his real name, unfortunately. It's so sad. But he played that game to shit and back too. But you know what? I never played this game. I think I started a profile on it once. I got past the character creator. Doesn't it start in a cave or something like that, right? I played like 20 minutes of this game. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I loved this game growing up, because I didn't. I thought this game was boring. I thought it was stinky. I thought it was knights and elves and swords and orcs, and I thought that was gross. And I just wanted to play. You know what I was playing when we first got our Xbox? I was playing Perfect Dark Zero. That's the game I was playing. So I'm just going to be honest with you. This isn't a game. It's a game I have a lot of exposure to, but it's not a game I have a lot of experience for. So it's a weird, like, second degree nostalgia, if that makes sense, where it's not like, oh, I love this game. It's just like, oh, this game gives me the warm and fuzzies because it reminds me of good times, of good days of my youth. But it's not that I grew up loving and playing this game, because I didn't. So anyway, that preface is just to say, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, they fucked up the color palette. Oh, they did. I saw a lot of that moaning and groaning up front. You know it, the internet boys, they can't be happy about anything. Everything's got to be a problem. And oh, why is it so gray? Why is it so ugly? Oh, it's so dull. The other one had color. I'm looking at it and I'm just like, from what I remember this game looking like, and I feel like I've seen a lot of this game before, I feel like it looks beautiful. Like, this remaster looks really, really good. Obviously, you had to take some artistic liberties if you're going to take a 20-year-old game and remaster. I mean, this is not a remaster. This is a poorly named game, because this is a remake. They, from the ground up, remade these assets and everything. Like, this is new shit we're looking at. And so it's a stunning game. It's a huge undertaking. They went above and beyond here, reworking mechanics, adding mechanics, reworking systems. All the art assets are new, redoing some of the lip syncing, adding new lines of dialogue. I mean, this is a remake. This is like a reimagining in a sense. This isn't like Final Fantasy VII remake level of remake, but it's not like, oh, we just up-resed it and put it in 4K and here you go, we're selling the same game. Like, this is a new rendition of Oblivion, and I love that they made it more accessible for new audiences by revamping systems and adding a run button and all these things, because it's going to make this game way more accessible for people like me who probably wouldn't jive with the 2006 version of this game, because I don't have the nostalgia playing that version. I want a game that feels more like Skyrim, because that is a more accessible mainstream game. And so I think they're very acutely aware that this Oblivion remake has to be more accessible, like a Skyrim type game for that audience, because Skyrim, the game that comes after this, is the game that took Elder Scrolls and made it this super huge mainstream success. Oblivion was a huge success, but it was a huge success in the hardcore gaming space. Skyrim is the game that took it to like mass appeal and mass adoption. So obviously, if you're going to take a game that came out before Skyrim, you're going to have to keep in mind, we need to make this more approachable for that audience that doesn't know Elder Scrolls before Skyrim. People like me, people like, I'm sure, a handful of you listening. I know there's a lot of old Xbox heads who absolutely adore Oblivion. For most of us, that's not the case. We don't have the experience. So I think this is great. I think that the fact that they modernized this game, they brought it forward, they made it accessible and fresh and new and exciting for fans of the old version, as well as new fans to come, people who will play this game and no doubt fall in love with it. I think that's fucking awesome. I think it's excellent. It seems like the early impressions, for the most part, are, hey, they did a fantastic job. This is a great remake. So from that perspective, dude, shout out, props. Xbox so badly needs a win. Bethesda so badly needs a win. After Fallout 76 and Starfield and all this stuff, I mean, like, dude, Xbox and Bethesda could really use a fucking win. And it seems like, just based on the past 24 hours that this game's been out, there's some belly aching about, subjective things like art style critiques and changes made, but overwhelmingly people think the actual product, pound for pound, is quite good. And that has me really excited, just because, again, it's like, it goes back to the Nintendo thing. It's like, listen, I know it's easy to get jaded and down the weeds. I don't want to be negative and cynical, and I think most people probably don't want to be. The internet, unfortunately, breeds negativity, so it feels like everyone wants that to be the case, but it's like, I don't know, let's bring back the good times. Bethesda used to be one of those teams that could do no wrong, everyone adored. I'm not saying that they deserve to be just blindly loved, despite the things they do wrong. I'm just saying it's nice to see them do something right and then get proper recognition for it, unlike, I don't know, Starfield, which is an example of them doing something right and then getting shat on relentlessly. That's in my opinion. I know it's controversial, but anyway, I just want to say I think this game looks phenomenal. I'm happy for Virtuous and for Bethesda and for Xbox. It seems like this is going to be a real big win on their hands. I'm just still puzzled by the decision to just shit this thing out at the worst time possible. I just think it makes no sense. I still can't understand it. Cronky, made the observation when I was talking to him. He's like, well, maybe what this is like they're giving it one last ditch effort. I thought he wrote in with a comment about this, but I guess he didn't. I don't know. Maybe he texted me this. I don't know. But he's like, maybe this is just like a last ditch effort where they're just like, fuck it. Let's like overload Game Pass with so much shit that like you'd have to be not silly or unaware. You'd have to be an absolute fucking moron to ignore Game Pass with how much value we're going to pack into it. And then if that doesn't move the needle in some meaningful, traceable way, then fuck it. Let's just do a huge overhaul and say, okay, time to cut the cord and move on from Game Pass. I understand why your mind might go there and curiously wonder something like that. But I just truly, truly don't believe that's at all what's happening. I think the thing about Game Pass is, unfortunately, it's this cudgel for Xbox where it's like, you cannot get rid of Game Pass. As long as Xbox as the brand exists, Game Pass has to stay with it. Like I said the other week, if they really, truly want to get away from Game Pass, the only option they have is to minimize the importance of Game Pass so much by selling all your games on every other platform and making that your main profit model, to where Game Pass is this like little totally tertiary background optional thing for some select few people, which might very well be what Xbox is doing. Very similar to like what Ubisoft does with Ubisoft Plus, where most people just buy Assassin's Creed, but for those who know or give a shit, you can get that Ubisoft Plus subscription. I think it's very much meant to be that way if there is a desire to move away from Game Pass at Xbox. But there's no full getting away from it. So if that were true, that this is just a last-ditch attempt to throw everything at the wall all at once and see what sticks, I just don't think that it's done with the intention of, oh yeah, we're going to get out of Game Pass if this doesn't move the needle. And like, really, do you think these are the games? Like a fucking Oblivion remake with South of Midnight, a pretty niche game, and Avowed, a game that unfortunately just didn't hit the mark for most, it seems. And then Doom, which will no doubt be a huge win for them. I don't know. It's like, is that really the winning combination? And then you're like cannibalizing Atomfall and Expedition 33 in the mix. I really, really, really question the wisdom and the logic behind this decision making. And I cannot wait until we get a little distance from this situation so that someone who does the legwork and does some research or whatever in the reporting can give us and provide us a little clarity on what's happening, or perhaps just time itself by way of, future events will kind of shed some light and help us to understand what was going on here, because I'm just so confused. You're cannibalizing third-party deals you made with partners. You're kind of cannibalizing your own games. You're drawing attention away from all your games you're putting on PlayStation right now. Honestly, now is the time to be talking about what your efforts are for Switch 2. And instead we're doing this. It's just like, what is the plan, Xbox? What are we doing here? And I just don't get it. That being said, taking it away from the perspective of what are you doing? What's this company all about? And just purely blindly enjoying the product as a consumer. Oh, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion looks great. And when I finish the game I'm working on right now, my plan is to jump into this. Yes, I want to finally get to Spider-Man on PC now that Spider-Man 2 is out on PC. Yes, I want to get to Expedition 33. I thought that was the next game I was going to play. There are plenty of games I want to play. Trust me, I was about to download Mario Wonder on my Switch. I really want to play that because I can't believe it's been a year and a half and I still haven't played that game. That's insane. I love, love, love new Mario games, like real Mario games like Mario Wonder. I can't believe I haven't played it. But now, once I finish the game I'm playing currently, my new plan is to jump right into Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered, which, if all goes well, could be this weekend, possibly Sunday. I don't know. We got some birthday plans this weekend, so I don't know how free I'll be, but my plan is to jump into this game fairly soon. I already got it loaded. I haven't downloaded it on the Series X for some reason. I was a little intimidated by what my hard drive space looks like. So I went upstairs. I downloaded it on the Series S. It's ready to go, baby. I could boot that thing up any second now. I could just hit stop on the recording, cancel the podcast, and go play this bad boy right now if I wanted to. But I've made my own choice, and I'm going to do the podcast instead. Yes, I am, for you guys. Love you. All right, guys. So that's Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Hopefully next week we'll get to talk about that a little more. You guys can write in. Let me know what you think. I know a lot of you are playing it. When I downloaded it last night, already like 6 or 7 people on my friends list were actively playing it. So that shows that there's a lot of fervor and a lot of excitement surrounding this game, which is great. So you guys feel free, please. Let me know what you think. Are you loving it? Are you hating it? What's great about it? What's not so great about it? Hopefully I'll be playing it by then as well, and we can all talk about it together. But that right there is the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered. What a great way to shut the fucking fans up for a minute while you buy yourself a few more years to work on Elder Scrolls 6. Huh? Love it. All right, guys. Let's move on. And also, on the bright side, hey, this is one less thing for them to talk about at their summer showcase in June. So what will they talk about? One less game that we know about. It's very exciting. They have a lot of things to announce and show to fill in that usual 90-minute runtime. And with so many games announced and released at this point, I'll be very curious to see how they fill in the time. All right, guys. So let's talk about Atomfall real quick. Speaking of games that are kind of just being fucking swept under the rug because Xbox can't stop releasing games. Help me. They can't stop. Xbox is like a teenager that just discovered porn. And their secretion is the content we're releasing on Game Pass. I wish I didn't say that. Let's move on as fast as possible. Guys, VGC, launching into Xbox Game Pass has been a huge success for survival action game Atomfall, according to Rebellion CEO Jason Kingsley. Atomfall was released last month. The game has been a big success for Rebellion and attracted more than 2 million players since launch. When speaking with GamesIndustry.biz, Kingsley claimed that this was largely helped by the marketing support and discoverability boost of Game Pass, where the game appeared day and date. He said, quote, "It's been a huge success. Microsoft's been a fantastic partner to work with, and they've really helped us. They brought their skills and large scale to bear on our small project, and it's done really well for them. So they got a good deal. We got a good deal out of it as well." The CEO said that while he believes launching into a subscription service could cannibalize sales for hardcore games like Atomfall, he hoped that the word of mouth would lead to a boost in premium sales. He says, quote, "With Game Pass, you can't get people to try it. You can get people to try it, and then the result of one of those people trying it is if they like it and then they tell their mates on social media, hey, I found a game on Game Pass I really enjoy it. You should have a go." Sorry, he's British, so he talks like that. And then some of them are on Game Pass and they'll play it that way, but some of them aren't on Game Pass and they'll also want to be a part of that conversation, so they'll go and buy it. At least that's our theory. We don't have the data for that, but Chris and I both feel that one of the biggest challenges as a company for us is discovery, and Game Pass has allowed a lot of discovery for our game. Kingsley said that there were other benefits to launching a Game Pass beyond discoverability, such as Microsoft's financial guarantees and the confidence booster in its interest gave the team. Yes, quote, "It does mitigate risk because without going into the details, they guarantee you a certain level of income regardless of what the game sells for," Kingsley says, but it potentially has a knock-on effect. Places like Xbox sales, for example, you could argue that all the hardcore are on Game Pass and that they're the ones that might buy a new IP like Atomfall, so therefore you can be cannibalizing one section of your audience. And I think perhaps, yes, a little bit, but what you gain from the cost is disproportionate. So let me get into what he's talking about here because it's really, really, really important. So let me kind of break down what he's saying again, just for further clarification. He's saying, a game like Atomfall is a pretty niche game. It's a hardcore game. You're not going to go to work and your coworkers are like, "Yo, bro, you check out that fucking Atomfall." They might be talking about Madden or Call of Duty or NBA or GTA, but they're not going to be like, "Bro, Atomfall." No. It's the game that like nerds who have snot in their nose balls will be talking about, right? And so what he's saying is like, yeah, who are the people most likely to subscribe to Game Pass on Xbox? Hardcore Xbox fans. Well, who on Xbox is most likely to buy a game like Atomfall? Hardcore Xbox fans. So by putting your game on Game Pass, you're basically guaranteeing that the people who would be likely to buy your game won't buy your game because they'll just get it through Game Pass. Case in point, people like me, right? People like probably a lot of you listen to this podcast. Well, you can offset that by one, selling the game on a far more successful platform like PlayStation or Steam. Okay, there you go, PC and PlayStation, good. And then you can guarantee a certain level of income by doing Game Pass because Xbox will say, hey, we'll pay you X amount of dollars to get the game on Game Pass. So that way, if you don't know if your game is going to be a roaring success or a massive flop, at least you can guarantee a certain level of income just by having game on Game Pass and hope that the discoverability factor helps launch your game into a higher stratosphere in terms of player awareness. See, the problem is games today, are the hardest thing about it for developers and publishers is getting games noticed, because there are so many games releasing all the fucking time, and everyone's so goddamn addicted to Fortnite that it's like, good luck. You can make the greatest game of all time, but if it's not a PlayStation first party game and it's not a Fortnite update, good fucking luck getting anyone to give a shit about it, right? And that is the huge hurdle a lot of indie developers and AA developers and frankly new IP from even known publishers and developers struggle with, is that discoverability. It's getting people to know and give a shit and want to try your game when all their entertainment time and money is being competed for with the likes of non-video game related items, the 8.6 trillion video games coming out every fucking day, Fortnite, Call of Duty, Minecraft, the usual suspects like that, Marvel Rivals, Apex Legends, and then of course more known qualities like safe sequels, like, oh, we're making another Spider-Man game, another Halo game, another Forza game, right? More games that people are already comfortable and know and known qualities. There's another Assassin's Creed game, ooh, another Battlefield, another Call of Duty, another Grand Theft Auto, another Mario Kart. But who's going to give Atomfall a try? And so you take all those factors into consideration. You're like, okay, well, hopefully we'll cannibalize sales on Xbox, but Game Pass will give us a guaranteed paycheck, so the game's not a total flop. And so we can kind of budget our game development around that. And then maybe the word of mouth and the boost from Game Pass users will help encourage people to buy the game on platforms where they don't have Game Pass, like PC, or PC they have Game Pass, but not many people are on it, or PlayStation where they just don't have Game Pass. And then maybe you make money by selling the game to those people because the Xbox fans generated buzz for your product. And that's the hardest part. It's not even just selling your game, it's getting people to look at your game. And so this is kind of the balancing act. This is one of those things that's so complicated for a developer today, because everyone just thinks people are just fucking greedy and putting games out for $70. It's like, whoa. Most of these games don't turn a profit. Most of these developers go under. Look at all the teams that keep disappearing and the people getting laid off and reshuffled and stuff. It's hard. It's hard out there in the games industry. And that is your biggest hill you're up against. You look at a team like Rebellion, they've been around for a long time, but they've had pretty big successes, but they've never had massive successes. And this is a new IP, so it's a huge risk, and they're publishing it themselves and all the rest. So this is just a huge, huge risk. So for them to be able to do this kind of guaranteed thing with Game Pass offers them an opportunity to, best case, in the worst case scenario, not completely bomb and fail, which is promising. And that's one of the positive sides to Game Pass. Although there's the negative side as well, which is that Xbox people are just being trained and taught not to fucking buy video games. So there's just all these different angles and ways to look at it. And it's cool to see them talk about it from their experience and see how a game on the scale and caliber of like an Atomfall can be impacted positively, negatively from Game Pass. And they even talk about how they don't have the numbers, so they're not 100% sure, but from what they're seeing and how they feel and how it's kind of going for them, they feel like Game Pass was a pretty good deal for them. And that's awesome. It seems like Atomfall has done pretty decent. Keep in mind the game's budget probably wasn't all that. The game doesn't look super next gen, so they kept the development costs and everything in check, which is excellent, that they were able to manage their budget and their expectations accordingly. And it seems like a feel-good success story the way things have played out with Atomfall. Now, if only I could get some goddamn free time to play the game, that'd be great. But Xbox, you won't stop putting out new games, will you? God dang it. Oh, look at that. They just shit out another fucking, I don't know, what else are they doing? Another Candy Crush. Now that's called Chocolate Crush. Ooh. Sounds like an MTV dating show from 15 years ago. Anyway, guys, that's really all we have. I mean, we got some wrap-up stories at the end here, but just not a whole lot going on in the world of Xbox. Clearly, the Oblivion thing is a huge deal. And aside from that, right now is really Nintendo's time to shine. All eyes are on Nintendo. There's a lull kind of in the news cycle anyway, and everyone's just got all eyes on Switch 2 and that kind of thing right now. So, cool. Let's ride it while we got it, enjoy it for what it is, and then Xbox will be back in the news like crazy. I mean, soon we got Doom coming up really shortly, and then in June we got the showcase. So Xbox, they'll be back around, and I'm sure we'll start getting rumors and leaks and updates about the showcase in the coming weeks. So Xbox news is going to be plentiful very soon, but for now, let's enjoy the rest. Let's enjoy the lull. Before we get into those closing news stories, though, I want to tell you about the games I've been playing this week, you guys. So let's get into that real quick. But before I can tell you about what I've been playing, I gotta tell you what it is I've been eating. Yes, I got a weird one for you this week, and not really weird, but just different. Which is that I want to talk about polenta, not placenta, you fucking pervert freak, but polenta. So Here's one of the things about being an Italian American. I love it because it's so fake. I don't know if all Italian Americans feel this or as many of them feel this as I do, but like, dude, the Italian heritage thing, it's such a fucking farce. I know there's a lot of Irish Americans who deal with this as well. It's like, dude, it's such a farce because I feel like this is what it's like when you're white and you're of European descent in this country and you're like 4 or 5 generations removed from like the European family that came here through Ellis Island or wherever the fuck you got here. It's like this, like you see like Asian kids who are like, oh, I'm Korean, oh, I'm Vietnamese, I'm Chinese, whatever. And then like you meet like the Hispanic kids and like the Hispanic people. Oh man, they're so fucking proud. They got the flags. The Puerto Ricans, I know they're American, but you know, they got their flag, and the fucking Mexicans got their flag, and they got their food, and they talk about it, and they got their language, and they got, it's like, oh man, everyone's so cultural. Everyone's so cool. I'm so fucking white. I only speak English. And so it's like, I feel like white people, they try so hard, you know. It's like black people have like black American culture, and then there's like the traces to like African culture and all this stuff. Like there's culture, there's history behind all these things. And then the white people are like kicking rocks, like, oh man, all you got is like fucking like chain restaurants and like fucking Taylor Swift. We don't, you know, it's like, ah man. So I feel like a lot of like white Americans, they really cling on to like whatever their European heritage is, assuming it's European. And you know, I guess you can be Australian, which is technically, I don't know, it all traces back to England, whatever, who gives a shit. But it's like, yeah, it's like a lot of these, like growing up white guy, Italian heritage, you meet like all the Irish kids, the other Italian Americans, whatever. Everyone's super fucking American, right? We're American as hell. We're listening to Dane Cook, and we're fucking Weird Al Yankovic, and we're playing Xbox 360, and we're eating fucking McDonald's. Like, there's nothing European about us, right? Nothing. Maybe a last name. Maybe your dad's 37% this, or your mom's 24% that. But there's nothing really European about you. You're just a white little motherfucker. And you cling on to it, though. Why is that? What is that about? Like, my family was always like that. Like, everyone in my family was like, well, we're Italian. Well, DeRosa's a real Italian name. Well, we're pasta and meatballs. You know what I'm saying? But, like, I think about, like, my family. I'm like, dude, there's nothing Italian about my family. Other than the fact that we refer to my dad's parents as Nani and Poppy, which is, like, I guess, an Italian thing. Is it an Italian thing, or is that, like, a New Yorker thing? I don't fucking know. Because I'm not really Italian. But I see it a lot. It's always the people, I swear, it's specifically Italian Americans and Irish Americans. You get a little bit with like the people who are, oh, my family's from England, my family's from Germany, my family's from Poland, my family's from whatever, Lithuania, whatever. But it's especially the Irish and the Italian Americans. God, they fucking love it. They love pretend they got the culture. It's like, do you speak Italian? No. They love the culture. Oh, what'd you eat for dinner last night? Del Taco. Sounds Italian to me. Anyway, the reason I preface with all that is because polenta is apparently Italian as fuck. And apparently it's a thing like even in like New York, Italy, like the fake, shitty, gross-ass New York Italian culture that's not even real Italian. I don't know anything about polenta. I made it like 24 years through my life without knowing what the fuck a polenta was. You know how I learned about polenta? I had it at a Walt Disney World restaurant. I saw it on a menu at a table service restaurant at Walt Disney World. And that's how I found out what polenta was. I said, what the fuck is polenta? And I pulled out my smartphone that was not made by the Italians, that was made by the Koreans or the Americans, manufactured in a Chinese fucking sweatshop. Certainly not from the Italians, because they don't do phones. They just do shitty cars and meatballs. And I looked up, what the fuck is a polenta? And you know what it is? It's like Italian grits. It's like Italian mashed potatoes. You know one thing I'm a Southern American. I know what the fuck grits are. Because I'm not Italian, I'm American, and that's a weird thing. It's like the fake claim to culture. But anyway, I don't want to get into that. I wanted to use this as a verbose, obnoxious, off-beaten way of circling around to this topic of polenta. So this is something I've only known about for a couple of years. I had it in a restaurant at Walt Disney World once, and I said, "Hey, this is really fucking good." For those who don't know, polenta is it's a cornmeal based peasant food from Italian culture, and you take like the cornmeal mix and you mix it with cream and garlic and some aromatics, and you whip it up and you cook it over a hot stove, and you mix it with water maybe if you want to make it a little more subtle, and it's like grits meets mashed potatoes for Italians. That's really all it is. And I've had it with pasta dishes. I've had it with Sunday gravy. I've had it with sausage. I've had it with whatever. And then one time, a few years after I had it at this Disney restaurant where I really liked it, I found out Trader Joe's has polenta, but they sell it in a different way. They sell it where it's like in like a sausage pack, and it's like this thick ass hard polenta little like stick, like beef jerky or like sausage or something. And you cut it, you slice it into like pieces, and then you grill it. You grill it like sausage patties or something. And it's grilled polenta. It's another way of eating it. I tried that and it was okay. It wasn't as good. But this week I was like, you know what I haven't had in a while? Polenta. And I've never really cooked it from scratch. So I don't know that I really made it from scratch, but I went to the store and I found a pre-mix, like a dehydrated polenta. And I was like, let me find a recipe. So I found a recipe from some obnoxious guy from Italy with an accent who's like, let me show you the real way we make a polenta in my country. My mother, she put the olive oil. And he's going on about his fucking olive. And you see, kids, I can do a racist Italian accent because Italians aren't real, and there's no such thing as being racist towards Italians. And my last name's DeRosa, so this is my one. This is the one I get to do. I don't gotta feel bad about it. I can't do a fake British accent. I can't do a fake like Black American accent. I can't do like a Hispanic accent. That's messed up. But I can do the Italian one because my last name's DeRosa, and it's the one thing I get to do. So please be nice to me. So anyway, he's going on about his fucking olive oil and his Mamma Mia and all that shit. And he's playing Mario on the Nintendo Switch 2. And he's like, fucking, dude, he's so weird. He's so fucking Italian. He's like, oh, we don't even put it on plates. We just slap it on the table. Gabagool. Because now he's a New York Italian all of a sudden. He just changed overnight. And he's just fucking putting the polenta on a cutting board. He's like, slap it on the table and fucking help yourself. Mamma mia. And he puts parsley on it. Of course he does, because they like the parsley for garnish. Anyway, I follow his recipe. I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a little marinara sauce. I'm going to make some sausage, pepper, and onion. I use chicken sausage because I don't really like pork sausage. It's a hot take. I know. Please don't come at me. And I make a sausage, pepper, and onion marinara. And I just serve it over a bed of rich-ass creamy polenta where like I just tons of half and half cream, garlic, salt, pepper. Mix that shit all into your polenta. Cook it up nice and good. Get that nice mashed potato type consistency. Grits. More like grits consistency. And, dude, it was fucking awesome. It was really good. It actually came out, like, really good. It tastes delicious. The creamy polenta with the more, like, savory, subtle tomato sauce, like hearty tomato sauce, and then the fresh snappiness of the bell peppers and everything, and then, of course, the meaty sausage. Really killer combination. Gotta say, big shout out to this dish. It was delicious. I will 100% try it again. For sure, I'll be making this again. I really liked it. But I just want to give a shout out to polenta. It's like, yeah, think about Italian food. People think about the pastas and the pizzas and the Mamma Mias and the meatball subs, but we never talk about polenta. And I'll stop saying it because now you're probably like, say it one more time, I'll fucking shoot you. I'm sorry. But just shout out to that food item that I won't say the name of anymore. Let me know if you've had it. Let me know if you even know what that is. It's like Italian grits. That's what I keep whenever people ask me now, because now I eat it and I try to be all smug about it. I'm like, I had polenta last night for dinner. Like, oh, what the fuck is that? I'm like, Italian grits, idiot, dumbass. You didn't know that? Ha! As if it didn't take me till I was like 24 years old to learn what it was. But anyway, that's it for what I've been eating. Now that I've insulted everyone and we've gotten our tummies full of cornmeal, let's go on and talk about what it is I've been playing, because that's just what I've been eating. I wasn't playing with my polenta. I was eating it. But this next thing I've been playing. So, like I said, last week I finished South of Midnight. As soon as I rolled credits on South of Midnight, I said, see ya, Xbox, because I'm still in this real big Nintendo kick right now. I'm super excited about Switch 2. So what I'm trying to do is go back and like kind of clean up my backlog of Nintendo games on Switch. And what's really nice about Nintendo is it's so easy to fill your backlog, to finish your backlog of Nintendo games, because every Nintendo console only has like 10 games worth playing at most. So it's so easy. You know, it's on Xbox where I have like 400 games I want to play. On Nintendo, it's like all of these third-party games, I'll play them on Xbox. All right, what's the first-party output? And that's all you got to focus on. So great. So, listen, the thing about the Switch is like I was so excited in 2017 when Switch came out. So fucking hyped. I remember the first time I unboxed it and picked it up, I was like, ooh, this is a really, really, really cool idea. This device feels really cheap and shitty. And that was like the first sign that something was off. But I loved the Switch for the first year or two. I played a shit ton of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I played Splatoon 2. I loved the Switch at first. But it was like over time. It was like 2018, 2019 came around. It's just like, wow, there are some good games. Don't get me wrong. Breath of the Wild's good. Mario Odyssey's fantastic. Splatoon 2's great. But it's like, there'd be good games here and there. It's like, oh, Metroid Dread. Oh, Splatoon 3. New Mario, whatever. But it was just constantly like, and here's another port of a Wii U game, and here's another port of a Wii U game. Oh, and here's another Wii U game coming to Switch. And I get it. It's like so few people had the Wii U. I understand where it comes from. I get why we're doing it. But so much of the Switch's library for so long felt like, here's a game you already played being re-released on the Switch for people who didn't have a Wii U, which is most people. But it's on a console where it kind of feels a little cheap. The Joy-Cons wobble on the handheld. Handheld mode doesn't feel great. The console's not that powerful. That's not really the point, but it just doesn't really have that. I don't know. I feel like the Switch kind of lacks a little bit of Nintendo charm and magic. And I'm just like, eh. So like over time, I kind of fell out of love with the Switch. I'm just like, this hardware just kind of sucks. But I will give Switch one huge compliment from its hardware that I kind of forgot about until this past week, because I've probably been playing I shit you not, 15 hours of Switch this past week. That's a lot of gaming time for me because I don't have a lot of free time. So I've been playing a lot of Switch, and I got to give credit where credit's due. While I do think the Switch kind of feels like shit in your hands, the Joy-Cons, even though they're an amazing concept, and I love that the spirit of the Wii Remote and Nunchuck lives on through the Switch Joy-Cons. I hate using the Switch in handheld mode. I hate the Joy-Cons. I hate that screen. I hate everything about it. But the Switch Pro controller is fucking so good. It is, outside of the Xbox controller, it's the best controller out there you can get. Easily. It's such a good controller. So I want to give a shout out to that. If you play your Switch in docked mode with a Pro controller, you're fine. You're going to have a great time. Just don't play with those shitty Joy-Cons because they fucking suck. I hate those things. Hopefully the Switch 2 is much better because the Joy-Cons are bigger. It looks more ergonomic a little bit. I'm really hoping that it feels and looks more premium and ergonomic compared to the Switch 1, but we'll see. Anyway, so shout out to the Pro controller. So what I've been doing is I've just been like finishing up the games I own on Switch that I started but never finished because I've just had such a fall out of love experience with Nintendo the past few years. So I went in, I finished Bowser's Fury and Mario 3D World last week, like I talked about. Not much to say on that because I beat that game a million times on Wii U. But really ashamed to admit, I played the fuck out of Splatoon 1 on Wii U. I played the fuck out of Splatoon 2 on Switch when it first came out. When Splatoon 3 came out in 2022, I bought it day one. I played a dozen hours or so of multiplayer, had a really good time. And I really didn't touch the campaign for some reason because I love the campaign levels in Splatoon games. So I came back to it and I was like, dude, this is embarrassing. I haven't played this game's campaign, really. I played the first few levels. Let me hop back in. And immediately was hooked. And it's so weird. Like, you guys know how it is. Sometimes you play something you know you'll like, and you're just not in the mood for it. So it doesn't click, and you move on, whatever. And then sometimes you come back, and you play it years later, and you're just like, wow, this is amazing. Why wasn't I into this 3 years ago when I played it last? I don't know. It just happens. So I hop into Splatoon 3's campaign immediately. Just like, dude, first of all, not only is it a great, campaign mode like the other two Splatoon games, but this one's better. The boss fights are better. It has little cutscenes and stuff and story beats that are so fucking funny and ridiculous, and I love it. It has really, really, really creative missions and really funny and ridiculous things that happen, especially towards the end of the game. And I just absolutely adored this game's campaign. Blasted through it in a weekend, had an amazing time doing it, and then played a whole bunch of multiplayer and was like, damn, if I let myself right now, I can just get sucked into Splatoon multiplayer for now. Because now I'm not rusty anymore. I've all seasoned up from playing through the campaign. I'm like, okay, I got the mechanics down. I'm good. Let's hop back into the multiplayer. But I got to keep going. Otherwise I'll get stuck. There's too many games to play. I can't get stuck on Splatoon's multiplayer. So I forced myself to stop and I said, okay, what's next on the list? So the last game on Switch that I own, but haven't beaten, that I'm embarrassed to admit haven't beaten, is Metroid Dread. Another game that I bought right when it came out. I played about a third of it. I'm probably 3 or 4 hours into the game. And then I just fell off. And I don't even know why, because I was really, really loving Metroid Dread. In fact, you can go back to Xbox On episodes from 2021, and I'll be talking about how I'm loving Metroid Dread. It's fantastic. And for some reason, I just stopped and moved on to other stuff on Xbox, because that's what I've been doing the past few years. So luckily they've added a fuck you baby mode, a rookie mode. So I was just like, you know what? I'm so lost in this game. It's been so long. Let me just restart. So I just restarted my save file on the rookie mode because I don't want to deal with difficulty. And I'm just kind of really cheating my way through this game. I'm just using a walkthrough so I don't get stuck or miss any upgrades or anything. And I'm just kind of like following this walkthrough through the game just to really, more than anything, have this very hand-holdy, touristy version of this game's experience. And that's fine. I'm not ashamed to admit that. I have very little free time, and I'm not going to sit around getting frustrated trying to figure out the puzzly nature of a Metroidvania. I'm just going to fucking let the game just guide me through it by following this guide. And I'm going to have fun seeing what the game has to show and playing through the experience. And that's what I'm doing, and I'm having a great time. Metroid Dread is it's probably my favorite 2D Metroid outside of my favorite 2D Metroid Fusion from the Game Boy Advance. And I'm really digging it. The atmosphere is phenomenal. The gameplay feels great. I kind of hate that you can't use the D-pad to move around. You got to use the analog stick, which drives me nuts. But aside from that, I mean, the game just feels great. It looks great, sounds great. Metroid is so good. And one of the things I always think about when I play Metroid now is you can feel that a lot of people that worked at Retro Studios on Metroid games, I know this game wasn't made by Retro, but you can feel that people that worked on Metroid games left Retro to go work at 343 and work on Halo 4 and 5, because so much of that Halo 4 and 5 aesthetic that a lot of Halo fans hate, you can see there's so much Metroid Prime influence in that aesthetic, and all 2D Metroid and all Metroid games period now have that Metroid Prime aesthetic to it. It's so funny to me, because I one of the things I adore about Metroid is I think it just has such an amazing aesthetic and tone and setting. And one of the things I love so much about Halo 4 and 5 is it has more of a Metroid-y kind of sci-fi twist on its feel and aesthetic that I just adored. And so I love that parallel between these two sci-fi franchises that I absolutely adore. And Metroid Dread, pretty fucking cool. Those EMMI whatever fucking robots, those bots that you're running from this game, they're truly terrifying. I think that's so cool that it's like a traditional Metroid game, but with this conceit that there's these 8 robots that you are like pretty much powerless against that are trying to hunt you down and fucking murder you. And anytime you get within reach of one of them, the game suddenly becomes a stealth game and you're trying to sneak your way around them. And they are utterly terrifying. Dude, when you get caught by one of them, you feel that like, oh shit suspense moment that you feel like in a horror game when you get caught. And it's so fucking good. Dread is such an appropriate name for this game. I fucking love it. Really also, this is partially just because I'm super excited for Metroid Prime 4 to come out later this year. So yeah, this is a great way to help get myself hyped for it. So that's it for what I've been playing. I was gonna hop next into Mario Wonder and Pikmin 4, because those are the other 2 games on Switch where it's like, how the fuck have I not played these 2 games? But I think I'm going to jump into Elder Scrolls next. So it's going to be wrap up Metroid Dread. Metroid games are about 8 to 10 hours, especially if you're following a guide. They can probably be done like 6 to 10 hours, 6 to 8 hours. So I plan on wrapping this game up over the rest of the week, through the weekend or something, and then just hopping right into Oblivion Remastered. Really looking forward to giving that game a go. I loved Skyrim after I finally gave that game a try, so I'm hoping that Oblivion really speaks to me, especially this more accessible version of it. So really looking forward to that. But you guys, let's take a quick water break, and then we'll come back, do the wrap-up news stories and comments, and that will be our show. So see you in just a minute here. All right, guys, let's wrap up with the important enough news stories, important enough to make the podcast, but not important enough to warrant our own discussions. So real quick, we got like 3. Okay. LG TVs are now getting the Xbox game streaming app. It's available on select LG TVs, specifically 2022 OLED TVs and select 2023 LG Smart TVs and newer models, along with smart monitors running WebOS 24 or later. All support the new xCloud gaming app. It's a dedicated app. It's accessed through the LG Stand By Me screen. You'll soon be able to access xCloud gaming app on there as well. So right now it's through that feature, and then they'll get a dedicated app. So LG TVs and computer monitors getting Game Pass, and Samsung TVs already have it. So just more ways to access that for people, more ways to get Xbox on every screen, because everything is an Xbox, as we know. So when I talk about the Switch 2, just know that's an Xbox. Please don't hate me. Next up, Electronic Arts has fully unveiled Star Wars Zero Company, the single-player turn-based tactics game developed by Bit Reactor in collaboration with Respawn Entertainment. We talked about it on the show a couple of times, but now it's been shown because this past weekend was Star Wars. What do they call it? Star Wars. What do they call it? Star Wars. fucking whatever, the fan event that they do every year. Why am I blinking? Anyway, set for release next year in 2026 for PC, Xbox Series consoles, and more. Zero Company is described as a gritty and authentic story set in the twilight of the Clone Wars, which I think is a super fucking cool time period to set a Star Wars game in, because everything is always like fucking old Star Wars or new Star Wars, and none of things focus on that like prequel territory, which I think that's cool. But anyway, lastly, here we go. Pure Xbox says Alan Wake 2 developer Remedy is about to launch their next major title, co-op shooter FBC Firebreak. That shooter project that's very weird, but it looks pretty decent actually. Anyway, speaking of that game, you can learn a lot more about it in a new special live stream that will showcase the day this podcast goes live, Thursday, April 24th at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So next week we'll be able to talk more about what this game looks like, possibly when it's coming out. I'm excited to see more of this. It looks very Left 4 Dead-like. It's like a Left 4 Dead game in the Control universe, and I'm here for it. So that will be exciting, at least for me. Hopefully some of you guys are interested in that as well. But guys, that's going to do it for all of our news this week. And now it's time for the best, last, and brightest section of the podcast. I don't know about brightest, but it's a section, and it's the one we end on. The comments, the shout-out comes from youtube.com. You go to youtube.com/Xbox on Podcasts, click on @Xbox on Podcast at youtube.com, whatever. Find it, not the British official Xbox channel. It's me. It's the one with the little sad Xbox avatar boy. And you click on the latest episode of the podcast, not the episode from 4 weeks ago. And you drop a comment there. You can say something nice to me. You can criticize the Switch 2. You can talk about what you want to see in the Switch 3. You can talk about what you want the Switch 4 to be called. You can even talk about your holiday plans for Easter 2026. I don't care. Just write in. Let me know how you're doing. Tell me about Oblivion. All right. We don't have many comments today. I think it's just 3 left. We read one at the top of the show, so just 3 left here. Starting off, Happy Mario writes in and says, "Hi, Jesse. I'm on holiday. I'm first. I guess he plays handheld as little as he plays." Last week's title was, Does Phil Spencer play in handheld or docked mode on a Switch? Yeah, you said, "I guess he plays handheld as he has little hands, lol." Does Phil Spencer have little hands? Do you know that? "I had a cheeseburger today from a mobile van, and I'm still alive. Haha." Well, Happy Mario, this was 6 days ago, so I hope you're still alive. But why are you eating cheeseburgers at a mobile van? It sounds very odd. Is this a food truck? Or is this a wannabe food truck? What is this? Listen, when a strange man pulls up to you, Happy Mario, and says, "Hey, you cute little boy, you like cheeseburgers? Hop in my van. I got cheeseburgers." You're not supposed to jump in, okay? Of course, in the U.S., the saying is it's children with candy, but maybe in the UK it's older men with. I'm assuming you're an older man. Let's be honest, there are no women listening to the show. In that, I guess they lure you in with cheeseburgers. Listen, I'm way more likely to get into a strange man's van if he's got cheeseburgers than candy. If he's like, "I got Smarties and Nerd Ropes," I'll be like, "I don't give a shit." But if he's like, "I got fucking double XL cheeseburgers with bacon and fucking Zaxby sauce," I'll be like, "Make room for me." So, Happy Mario, I'm glad you're still here after that experience, but please be safe. Take care of yourself. Don't be hopping in random vans for burgers, okay? Okay. Cronky writes in and says, "I finished South of Midnight. I freaking loved it. Awesome storytelling. Combat was meh, but I also love how they aren't afraid to skip combat and do cinematics a few times when other games would have made you fight a boss. All around, awesome experience. Compulsion is so underrated." I agree, they are a pretty underrated developer, especially after this project. But what else is new? I don't know. This is just the nature of how these things go. If you don't make a game that's within a genre or style that's popular, if you do something that's niche like this and serves a smaller audience, chances are you're not going to get a whole lot of praise and love for it. I want to be fair. I still understand the reasons why this game doesn't have mainstream appeal. And I think it's a crying shame because I think it's a great game. But I get it. But that being said, I really do have a deep appreciation for Compulsion games. I think they are far from a perfect developer. I don't think they're one of the best developers of all time. They're not even one of the best developers really in Xbox's stable. But I think they fill a void that is very much needed in the Xbox library. I think they add a lot of fresh uniqueness, and they really help round things out for Game Pass's offerings and for Xbox as a first-party publisher. And so I really appreciate what they've done here, and I really hope that they get to keep fighting to make more unique projects like South of Midnight, because I just love what these guys bring to the table. I think they're great. So glad you loved it as well. Keep up the great work playing games that are good, instead of games that are bad. I know you like bad games sometimes. You play Bad Dudes on whatever. Was Bad Dudes, was that an arcade game? Was that an NES game? I don't fucking remember. Anyway, Cargo Runner UK writes in with the last comment, says, great show. Game Pass is killing me. Too many good games coming. Too many good games leaving. I can't just play them all. And everyone is saying, oh, Oblivion is shadow dropping in a few days. I really wanted to play South of Midnight or Expedition 33, but Oblivion is one of my favorite games of all time, so I'll have to play that remaster. Seems a bad time for a shadow drop, in my opinion. Why release two good-looking RPGs at the same time? Edit. This is a few days later. So I've been playing Oblivion every minute I can. I'm really interested to hear what you think of it when you play it. Don't get your hopes up. It's a great facelift, but they are not current gen graphics. The character face models and animations are still very Xbox 360. They claim to have added lots of quality of life features. I haven't really noticed any, except for one, you can now run, and two, you can now redefine controller shortcuts. Both are great additions. It still feels very old and clunky and not too intuitive, so most new players will enjoy Skyrim much more. Also, it had crashed 3 times thus far, and it's still got quest-breaking bugs. I just wasted over an hour stuck in a dungeon trying to get out of what to do. Just trying to work out what to do when the quest was actually just broken. It's a great game, but new players need to set their expectations lower than some of the hype. Well, I mean, yeah, whatever. Give it a week or two for some updates and patches, and they'll fix most of that stuff. I understand that it's not 100% a reimagining of Oblivion. It is, mostly the bones of Oblivion, but with an aesthetic overhaul and some quality of life improvements. But I think that's going to be enough for someone like me to at least be able to appreciate this. I really don't think that this game is going to be so dated and obtuse that's going to turn someone like me off. But I think this is nice to add that disclaimer so that people can set their expectations appropriately. But I'm very much looking forward to this game, and I expect it to be somewhat dated feeling in some ways. Like I said, they didn't reimagine the whole game. So I'm fine with that. I'm still interested. That doesn't turn me off at all. And here's the thing about like visual fidelity or graphics. I appreciate good graphics, great lighting, and all these things. But honest to God, I am not a graphics whore. Never have been really. Like, first time I played my Series X, I played Destiny 2, and I got to see it running in 4K because I didn't have an Xbox One X. So I went from OG Xbox One to Xbox Series X. And I remember being like, wow, this looks really, really good. This is a really nice upgrade. But for the most part, I am not like here for the fidelity. Like for me, it's like, remember, I grew up just as much a Nintendo guy as an Xbox guy. So to me, it's like I had no problem playing Mario Kart Wii, a game that looks like objective shit. I remember the first time I saw Mario Kart Wii in 2008 going, wow, this game looks kind of shitty. Like these graphics look bad even for the Wii. That stuff doesn't bother me. As long as your art style is good and the graphics are good enough, I'm more or less okay with it. I understand some games, like one of their big claim to fame is like their graphics. I understand like when you get a new Naughty Dog game, a huge part of it is going to be how good it looks. That's fine for those kinds of games. But for the most part, I don't really give a shit. Like Halo Infinite, when that came out, Halo Infinite doesn't have the best graphics of all time. It certainly doesn't. It really isn't. It's not as boundary pushing for a Halo game as earlier Halo games were graphically. And you know how I feel about that? I don't really care. Like graphics to me, it's like, okay, I'll take great graphics so I can get them because it's appreciated. But if all games just suddenly had worse graphics and we reduced the stress and emphasis needed for games to just look great and have highest fidelity possible, I would be okay with that if it meant we could reduce budgets and get games made faster. These games that take 10 years to make. So to me, it's like, whatever. I'm not worried about that in the least bit. But do I want the game to run well and not have game-breaking bugs? Oh, of course. But hopefully, in the week or so it takes me to get around to it, there's a couple patches to fix some of those things. But I appreciate your writing. I'm glad you're loving it. I totally empathize and feel your situation, struggling to keep up with the games. But I'm glad a game you love and hold so dear has been remade and brought forward in a way that you can re-experience it again and be connected with that. So that is awesome. You guys, thank you all so much for listening. If you were like me and you're moments away from trying your luck at getting a Switch 2 pre-order, good luck to you. And if you're someone who's just excited that we got Oblivion Remastered, I hope you really enjoy the hell out of it. And if you're someone who doesn't care about either of those two things, but you're just here for other video game related reasons, I hope you're enjoying your games. I hope you're having a great week. To all, be good. Eat some polenta if you never had it. Don't be put off by the name. I know it's a weird name. It's a weird name, let's be honest. But it's good. It's good. So try it out. Be a good boy. Write in. Let me know what you think about the games you're playing and about the news. And until next week, take care and empower your dreams.